This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone. It is that time of day. Oh, yes, it is. The sun is about to rise, and it's time for the sunrise safari on the largest safari vehicle in the world. This is one of my favorite viewpoints from Djuma. It's a bit flat. It's not mountainous like Madikwe, but it's stunning, and you can see for miles. Good morning. My name is Lauren, and Uncle Owen is on camera. Yes, he is. And we're just watching the glorious colours of the sky. It's not as bright as it was earlier. It was really pink this morning, but it's still absolutely stunning. And of course, it's not just me out on safari. We have a whole team of amazing people. Cedric is the other half of my Djuma team. Then we have Trishala in Madikwe. We have Liam in Pridelands. And we have Ralph in Amakala. Good old Ralphie boy. So that is the team for today, and I must remind you that we are live and interactive. So please do talk to us. Send in your comments, questions, ideas. If you want to discuss something about the leopard dynamics, or maybe the hyena dynamics, or maybe plants, whatever it is, let us know. Head over to the website, WildEarth.tv, and as long as you've registered, you'll be able to submit your questions there. I don't really know my plans. An update on the leopards, no vocalizations, no audio, shall we say, was reported. So I don't know if the leopards have finished. I don't know if they've moved off. Don't know where they are. Cedric and I are very frustrated. Not that we didn't get to see the sighting, just that who is that female? And we absolutely worked together on that one. Saw some comments on Twitter saying otherwise, but we really did. Victoria, you want some hyena luck? Well, that I can deliver. I do have a private safari this morning, which I'm really excited about, but I absolutely am going to head to the den. This is a really good time to go to the hyena den. So on that note, Owen, let's start bumbling. This sort of time in the morning, it's perfect. It's still chilly, crisp, fresh, beautiful, and we're just getting light. So I think I will head down that side and see what's going on with the Djuma clan. So far, it's only really been June and Ntima at the den, but one day that's going to change. One day we're going to arrive and other members of the clan will be there. And that's kind of the day that I'm a little bit excited about. A lot of females get very excited when there's new cubs, and they sort of make this really low groaning sound, and it's a really heartwarming thing to watch. So as I bumble south, let's take a look at the weather.
Yes, it is a nice, fresh morning. I am so excited being out here on this sunrise safari. Well, good morning to everybody. My name is Cedric, and behind the camera with me this morning, we've got Cameron. Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to having him behind the camera this morning. So, my plan is this morning to try and see if I'm going to head down Twin Dams Road. Apparently, the Nkuhuma Lions, they've got their tracks coming all the way down on Gary Main. That's on the southern side of the property. And well, I'm just crossing fingers that Pride of Lions decide to move north into Djuma. If so, well, we might be in for a wonderful tawny Sunday sunrise safari. Yes, yes. But let's take a look. But it's a beautiful morning. It is a bit chilly this morning. I've got my gloves on. It feels kind of maybe something has moved in, a little bit of a front or something, but you never know. But let's go and take a look. Let's go and find these animals. As you never know, there might be other things as well around this side. So I know that there was bushbuck and yellow alarm calling. Dixie, yes, let's have an awesome drive. Thanks, Dixie. Thank you very much. I just want to listen to the radio. The guys are busy calling, so I'm just going to give these guys a hand with the lion tracks coming up here. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to miss any updates. Yeah. All right, I'm coming up towards a nice little pan called Chiller Pan. I did hear some birds calling in now. Maybe we bump into them somewhere on the side. It looks like there has been quite a few elephants around. A lot of branches, fresh branch food. Yeah, let's keep our eyes peeled. If you do see something and I don't see it, let us know. Maybe I'll pass a animal that's lying in the grass. Okay, let's head slowly this side. As I say, I don't like missing tracks. I don't like standing by. All right, where? How far? Are they still coming towards Twin Dam side? Copy, thank you. Alright, so just trying to get updates on those lion tracks. So it seems like the lion tracks are ready yet straight towards Twin Dams. It's one of the dams that's on the southern side of the property. So let's get into that area and see if they haven't changed direction. As I'm saying, crossing fingers that they might end up Twin Dams or maybe even a Treehouse Dam. That's if they do come north. Let's see some tracks here. Hyena tracks. I think if we find a new hyena somewhere, we must call it Ina. And when you see it in the morning, you go, "Hi, Ina." Anyway, let's go to Liam in Pridelands. He wants to say good morning to everybody.
Good morning indeed from your Pridelands team, and kicking things off with an absolute smasher. We've managed to relocate on the massive Isselwini bull elephant. Woohoo! Superb. So my name is Liam Burrow. I'm the naturalist here in the driver's seat. Very, very happy to be kicking off with this guy this morning. Man behind the lens is the legend Uhuru. Happy bloody days. Yeah. So these ellies have done quite a bit of damage to a marula tree here. Isselwini and his 3 askaris, his 3 bachelor bull followers. Ah, sublime. This guy is just the coolest. I think he's going to reach. Keeps gazing up into the canopy of this tree, or what's left of it. Nina, absolutely. And again, these magnificent old tuskers constantly on the move. He's already a few kilometers from yesterday. So, yeah, 2 more sightings of it. So very, very, very grateful this happened during my weekend. Yeah, talk about draw. And I shared a number of images of Isselwini through the years. It's really amazing to see how he's developed.
Chatting around a fire is an ancient practice that has connected humanity for centuries, and we want to keep it alive in our modern age. As an explorer, you'll have access to intimate gatherings with our naturalists, fascinating guests, and experts where we share knowledge, insights, and stories around a crackling fire. Rediscover the power of connection. Sign up to be an explorer today and experience the magic of WildEarth's Fireside Chats.
A really nice time to sit and listen as well. There's a team of people tracking lions. You may hear them, you may hear a leopard. Oh, I didn't get that, FC, you're singing. I really didn't get that, sorry. Anna Marie, absolutely. Here comes the sun. It's going to warm up quickly, I think. Last night I was so hot. Normally I put 2 blankies on because it's so cold here right now. I've got the duvet and then 2 blankies. But last night I was so hot. It's a very warm period we're going through right now. I'm not complaining. I'd much rather it was warm than cold. But it's also slightly odd.
Reserving at a yellow-billed hornbill that I think feels very much like I do.
Africa boasts myriad landscapes. From true forest to true desert. And countless stunning ecosystems in between. The savannas of East Africa are home to nature's most stunning spectacle, the Great Migration. These rolling grasslands are nurseries of abundant life. The woodlands of southern Africa, sometimes verdant and sometimes desiccated, offer the most intimate insight into the lives of the continent's beloved wildlife. Wherever you are in Africa, the scenic majesty will take your breath away.
Alright, so we're still following up on the Nkuhuma Pride. Yes, they have, apparently the tracks have come in northwest. So we are next to the Mulwati. It's a drainage line that's right next to me. On the other side of the drainage line there's another road, and the guy says the tracks have come northwest into this area. So if we can find this pride of lions, I am going to be so stoked. But there's another vehicle here, I'm not too sure who's that. Alright, they're going to do that way. I am going to go down. I'm going to go do the Mulwati. I'm going to go along the drainage line. Yesterday we had signal there yesterday. Just double checking on that. We could do the Mulwati, but I have to do it because just to see if these lines didn't go into this drainage line. Let's go and take a look. Let's take a look and see if we can find them. It's 14 lines, so you can imagine. Oh, there's some tracks here of a leopard. See, remember yesterday we had those leopards following the leopard tracks all the way here? Now let's see, there's a leopard tracks all the way down. It looks like a female. I'm going back again. Back and forth. Right, let's do the Mulwati. Maybe we find a leopard while we're looking for lions. You never know. It looks like a female. Yeah, I think she was here yesterday when we were walking in this drainage line, trying to look for her. Of course, that's just south of Spaghetti Crossing. Just have to look very carefully here. Alright, so let's head over to Liam as he's still sitting with that beautiful, magnificent male elephant.
Superb. So the big man in all his glory. We've repositioned slightly, and Ezelweni has ambled right up to the side of us here on Pridelands. Just as the sun rises over his colossal rump, he's happily feeding, probably 8-9 feet away from us, 3 meters, something like that. Oh my goodness, what a privilege. I think some amount of confidence must come with being ultimately one of the largest, most sort of well-developed bulls in the entire area. There's not a whole lot, even in terms of other elephants, that'll actually challenge this guy. And that makes him just extremely relaxed. That's my theory anyway. Historically viewing this guy in the past, even in full-blown must, a period that affects all male elephants, he's been very approachable, very gentle. Katie, absolutely. Thankfully, there are lots and lots of people doing incredible conservation work in Africa to try and protect all elephants, and not just the tuskers, even though they are certainly, at least in my perspective, some of the most impressive. Anyway, as we soak up this absolute elephant majesty that is Ezulwini, let's check back in with Lauren to see what she's up to.
Well, we have an animal for our ranger race list from Team Wendy. Hippopotamus amphibious, back in Treehouse Dam. It's amazing how they move. Sometimes we come, nothing. We obviously decide, I'm going to move to another water body. This one is no longer good enough. But I think most of the water bodies are good enough right now, to be honest. The amount of water, the volume of water on this property is it's unbelievable for this time of year. So I think the hippos are very happy. Happy hippos, not hungry hippos. Happy hippos. I'm trying to decide which way to go, looping around. I know there's a team of people working the sort of eastern corner. And I naturally want to head south. Such a beautiful, peaceful morning. I wonder which property will win the ranger race. Makala has a really good chance. They have a really high diversity of mammals there. Mandy, you think hippos are so underrated? Possibly. Although most people that come on a safari want to see hippos. It's chaos in Madikwe when a hippo crosses out of the Mariko River into the property. It's chaos. There's lineups, standbys for forever. I think they're fully appreciated at this side, but yes, I guess they're not one of the glamorous big five. But most people have hippo on their wish list.
Nick.
Okay, and we are going to keep bumbling. We've got places to be, places to reach. So let's see what we see along the way.
Those sounds just go straight through you.
So elephants in Africa, as little as 100 years ago, were thought to be in the millions in terms of population. Today, however, we probably sit with around 350,000, which sounds like a lot, and absolutely it is. But essentially, if you look at the decline, it paints a fairly grim picture of elephant distribution and population trends. Some of the biggest issues facing these guys is having to share habitat in very rural areas with people. Fences don't mean all that much to elephants, especially elephants motivated by hunger and thirst. And unfortunately, they will come into agricultural areas and raid fields. Thanks, DJ Lex. Yeah, certainly an impressive male. So yeah, Ellies will raid fields, and they come in and eat maize, eat sunflowers, eat pumpkins, sort of whatever's being grown. And it's obviously very easy for us to side with the elephant. They're super charismatic, and we're super passionate about them. But think of it from the perspective of a a little subsistence farmer out in a rural area, a dirt poor. He's only got half an acre or a quarter acre of maize, with which he's going to feed his entire family for the year. And an elephant comes in one night and eats the entire thing. So we can understand people getting frustrated and wanting to shoot them. But essentially the elephants were there first. So we do have to find a nice natural balance between the needs of elephants and the needs of people. A local conservation group called Elephants Alive has had enormous success in rural areas, placing beehives fairly systematically around kind of fields of crops where elephants have been raiding. And now we know that the number one enemy of the gigantic African elephant is the minuscule African honeybee. It's thought that the ellies are quite afraid of getting stung by them, in particular around the trunk, because any swelling in that trunk would almost certainly affect their ability to breathe. So the smell, the sound of those African honeybees is enough to chase ellies away. So Elephants Alive will put bee boxes, beehives, suspended on wires around fields of crops, and that seems to function extremely well. And not only does it keep the ellies out, but the bees pollinate the crops, and the local people can generate a little bit of extra income after learning to harvest lovely, sweet, organic African honey. So there are sustainable solutions to be had. It doesn't always have to be a bullet. Long may they live. Kathy Lee, you and me both. There's something extremely calming about this bull's aura. He has just the immensity of a continent. He's like a big grey mountain. Darcy Miller, it certainly has. If you look at some of those photos I posted via Elephants Alive, you're welcome to check those out on my Instagram if you haven't seen them. Izilwini, around the age of sort of 10 or 15, didn't look particularly impressive at all. It's notable that the majority of this growth on his tusks has come about in sort of the last 10 or 12 years. And that's fairly typical for large tusked elephants. And the majority of the growth happens in sort of the final quarter of their lives. Interesting that if this guy is about 40 or 45 now, if he lives another 15, 16, 17 years, something like that, think of how big these tusks might be then. Yeah, it just doesn't get any better than that. Bianca, quite nicely. I viewed him on a number of occasions in Olifants West with another large tusked bull by the name of Shoshangan, who's unfortunately passed away. He died a couple of years back from injuries that he had actually incurred fighting with other bulls. And I viewed Ezulwini and him happily sharing branches. I mean, that's another big, potentially quite competitive bull for him. But Ezulwini seems to just have the feeling that he's the boss, and he is. Why get upset when you've got all the power already? All the attention from all the ladies, all these young male groupies wanting to learn from you. He's a rock star. And with some luck, every single year he's leaving his genetic material behind in the offspring that he's undoubtedly fathering. Anyway, as we ponder the future of Africa's elephants here from the wonderful Pridelands, let's check in with Trish and see what she's up to.
Good morning, everyone. Again, hornbill. It's a yellow-billed hornbill. Now, we tried to show you one earlier, but we got cut off because it is a chilly morning. All the hornbills are really hunkering down, pulling their necks in and trying to collect some sun, which has finally popped up over the horizon. It's starting to warm things up, but it was a very chilly morning. It was about 4 degrees. Sorry, let me put my game drive radio off there for a moment. Pretty chilly. I sound a little bit husky today. My apologies. I think it's starting to get to me. If you hear those sniffles and things like that, I do apologize. You can see my gloves on, and it's me, Trishala. Got Lloyd on camera, and we are ready to go. Yes, it is cold, but I must say it's a very comfortable kind of chilly. In fact, I thought it was warmer this morning. I thought it was probably like 8, but it was 4 degrees. It's only going to get chillier. As you know, it is ranger race time. How exciting. I've been having a look for chameleons. Unfortunately, there's nothing to report just yet, but also it is really cold. So either in the afternoon we might be able to see some, but early in the morning and in the evening it gets pretty chilly. And if the chameleons are around, if I'm looking at the right place and they're around, they're going to be very well hidden, trying to find a spot of insulation. So they're not going to be at the edges of the branches as they usually would in the summer. Minky, you say good morning, Minky. And good luck for the race. Thank you very much. We were definitely having a look around at other animals, or looking for other animals, but on this particular road, everything seems to scatter a little bit as soon as we begin to drive. So maybe we take a moment and just listen out. Yesterday that helped us quite a bit, and the day before. So let's take a moment to just listen to the sounds of the bush, see if we can get any clues. So what I was listening out for was obviously alarm calls, things like that. Maybe some animals calling. Maybe even the chewing of an elephant as it breaks and snaps branches. Cindy D, good morning, Cindy D. Cindy D says good morning to you and I, Lloyd. Lloyd says good morning too. There we go. No, nothing. I thought I heard an alarm call a little bit earlier, but then after sitting and listening for a bit, which is such an important thing to do in the bush, I didn't hear anything. Also, something to keep in mind, like early in the morning, Lloyd heard some lions, around 4 or 5. And it sounded really close. And in the morning, especially with such cold air like this, something can sound quite close but actually be very far. So we're just going to have to keep on going, see what we find for the ranger race. Anyway, let me send you over to Cedric, who's got his first animal.
Thank you. Yes, I've got some spotted hyenas.
Cedric, stand by.
Standing by, standing by.
Yeah, you're looking for people that are from myself and Malanza. We are on Leadwood right at the moment. Going back towards Mumberling.
Okay. Sorry about this, everybody. I have been following up on lion tracks this morning, and we're still trying to follow up on lion tracks. While we were following up on lions, we bumped into some of the Juma clan individuals and characters. Looks like we've got, I don't know, this one. Looks like Mbilu. I think so. And then we've got Corky as well to the left. And then we've got another one further in the grass. So it's something I'm not too sure. I am taking a look very carefully here. We also had the male and female leopard tracks coming all the way down the Mulwati from the Spaghetti Crossing area all the way down towards Twin Dam side. So I was also maybe thinking it might be something that's in the vicinity, and that's why these hyenas are waiting patiently. So I am going to still try and scan this area. I've got a feeling that there is some potential feline animal that's hanging around here on the eastern side of the Mulwati. But you can see these hyenas are fast asleep. They are really not too busy and too worried about whatever is happening here. And they are waiting patiently. As I say, we are quite far in from Leadwood Road. It's just south of us. So I'm just gonna be on the radio for a bit, Jordan. These guys are trying to get in there. Amanda, my location at the moment is we are east of the Mulwati drainage line, directly east of Twin Dams, north of the fire break. Yeah, so also just going through Mulwati, there's a little 2-track that you can go onto the eastern bank. I just came onto the eastern bank to take a look here. Picked up on the 3 or 4 hyenas at the moment, but yeah, I can hear you guys about southeast of us. Sorry, just everyone's calling me on the radio. I'm gonna stand by, go Lauren.
Do you love relaxing at a waterhole with the sights and sounds of Africa all around you? Well, we have some really exciting news for you. From August 1st, Africam is joining forces with WildEarth to bring the majesty of Africa right into your living room with 9 incredible new waterhole cameras from across South Africa and Kenya. Get ready to embark on a new journey. This is Live at the Waterhole.
Wonderful to see the behavior of these younger Askaris, these younger bachelor bulls that are associating with the big chap. They're on their best behavior. It was interesting, another young bull sort of arrived off just sort of on Izilwini's left there a number of minutes ago. Came sort of almost bounding over to the tree. All Izilwini had to do was lift his head, and that younger male slowed down, approached respectfully. Talk about having strength in the silence. There's immense respect for this big guy.
And while we're still sitting here with the spotted hyenas, still taking a nice old snooze for the morning. I still haven't really seen anything else, or I haven't heard anything else in the vicinity. I know that one or two of the other guides from other lodges, they're also busy scanning the area and combing the area for those Nkuhuma pride. Oh, those lions are really hoping to find them this morning. But while these three hyenas are lying around here, there's a thing to understand and maybe to investigate. I haven't heard any leopards, I haven't heard any lions growling, so we have been sitting here for the last 6-7 minutes. Also know that Lauren is on a private drive, so I'm going to try and see if I can get her in to this area. try and guide her, yeah? Frankie, yeah, look, if a lion's going to be contact calling, yeah, or lions are going to start roaring in this area, yes, of course, these hyenas are going to, hold on, what's happening? Let's go and investigate. Let's go and see. So, but they won't go and push the boundaries. Maybe just more out of curiosity. Sometimes they'll say, well, then there might be a potential food source around there. It looks like these hyenas, I don't know if their tummies look quite full. Take a look at one or two of them. It's a little bit big there, but looks like they have. Had something to eat during the night. Standing by. On Leadwood Road, if you come up Leadwood from Gowrie, Main, we are on the eastern side of the Mulwati. You'll have to, unfortunately, you'll have to from Shlatin, have to come in, because we were following up on lion tracks and we bumped into them. So the best is to come directly north off Leadwood into the bush. I'm just trying to get Lauren to come in, yeah? It is a very tricky spot where we found them. Alright, well, we're going to try and get Lauren in this side, and let's go over to Liam and see what's happening with his elephant. So, we're still sat with our incredible herd of elephant bachelors, headed up by the iconic Ezelwini. He's now kind of left the pushed over knobthorn tree and gradually mobile deeper into the bush. We've been blessed with such an incredible view here today. We've been sat with these guys for almost an hour now. I think fairly soon Bika and I will probably leave this incredible chap in peace. Who's to say where he might go from here? Our fingers and toes are tightly crossed that he'll hang around a bit, but he could very easily leave. Oriole, there's absolutely no way of telling. So much elephant behavior goes on sort of between sightings, and a lot of it in the dark. It's just impossible to say whether he's fathered any calves at all. I've certainly viewed him with cows before, and I have no reason to think that he isn't very popular with the females. The experts reckon that females pick a male based on the height of his shoulders, the width of his head, and if at all possible, the length of his tusks. So the big Ez ticks those three boxes. Fingers crossed for many, many Ezelwini calves pitching up in this habitat in the next 30 odd years. Ultimately, that is the number one goal of every living thing on this planet, to leave behind a living legacy in its offspring. WildEarth, BK says, thank you kindly. He appreciates the recognition there. Not his first rodeo, as they say.
So yeah, the ultimate goal of every living thing on this earth, every bird, every plant, every fish, bug, elephant, wild dog, lion, is to leave behind a living legacy in its own genetic material, achieving the closest thing to immortality, which is to have offspring. Lucy, an elephant is probably, an adult male African elephant is probably consuming about a quarter ton, 250 odd kilos, over 500 pounds of vegetation each day. It is a full-time job. It'll take them almost 18 hours per day. Ultimately, the food they eat is not particularly nutritious, so hence the volume. As I say, in the next couple of minutes, I think we're probably going to be leaving these elephant pools. We've had more than our fair share of Ezelwini magic. I think it's time to crack on and see what else Pridelands has in store for us.
Attention all nature enthusiasts and budding safari rangers. Get ready for an epic showdown in the wild. From July 30th to August 1st, witness our skilled rangers competing head-to-head, racing to identify the most animal species. Only one will be crowned king or queen of the ranger race. Don't miss your chance to be part of this thrilling adventure. Jump on board and join the race.
Heart is pumping right now. Whew. Got through some thick stuff there. So I was talking to you about the sky and the fact that it's pretty much unobscured. There aren't a lot of trees around, big tall trees, which is also why we don't see lots of leopards here, because there isn't really the opportunity for them to hoist it. In fact, some of the big trees that you do see are leadwoods, and they would use the leadwoods or tambourtis. I've been seeing a lot of tambourtis too. Now in Djuma, you don't often see leopards hoist kills in tambourtis, but in an area like this where it's so much is just scrub, they're going to have to make use of those other trees like leadwoods and tambourtis that we don't often see leopards hoist in the Sabi sand, where Djuma is. Okay, we're almost there. I would love if we could just turn to face the sun so it could warm up my mouth so I can speak to you properly. I have to think really hard as I speak.
So the big guy has moved on. He's moved deeper into this thicket here on Pridelands. We just sat with a number of his very relaxed askaris, his male followers, happily tucking into the knobthorn limb that he brought down from the canopy. At least this acacia nigrescent's not going to waste. And amazingly, even though elephants do enormous destruction to this species and many other species of tree in this area, and the health of the population of trees is very much linked to the elephants. It can be seen in quite a positive light if elephant numbers are nice and balanced and movements are unrestricted. To give you an idea, this acacia nigrescens reproduces with a pod that looks a little bit like a snap pea or a sugar pea. So 3 or 4 seeds in a lovely flat pod. They dry out on the branches, and then the pod splits open at the right time of year and the seeds fall onto the ground. If a little bit of rain falls and that seed is sort of nice and healthy, it's got a 13% chance of germinating into a little seedling. However, if it goes through the digestive system of an elephant, as many millions of those seeds do, its chances of success go from 13% to 86%. So the knobthorn tree needs the elephant just as much as the elephant needs the knobthorn tree. But again, that all hinges on the fact that elephants need to move because they are extremely destructive. So an overpopulation of elephants, all restricted in one small area, will almost certainly result in the destruction of all the trees, with devastating consequences not only for the elephant population, but for every other animal out here that relies on the vegetation. Ellies need to be able to move, and vast distances, potentially thousands of kilometers a year, often into other countries. Maxine, we certainly do. It's perhaps better documented in places like East Africa where, for whatever reason, there's just this incredible richness of sort of large tusk genetics. But yeah, there are a number of very impressive Tusker-type females in the Kruger. Hopefully Izilwini comes across a few of those girls and they can maximize the chances of producing some big-toothed babies. Yeah, females though don't develop ivory anywhere near on the scale that we see in large tusked bulls. Some wonderful interaction between these young males. Yeah, again, it comes from that totally unique, powerful presence that Izilwini has got. It seems to breed an aura of calm amongst these youngsters. And that's a testament to the role of these big bulls in the environment. They govern, they make the rules, and they teach these younger ones how to behave. In the absence of the big bulls, these guys, these younger guys, fueled by testosterone, can be a real menace. It's been well documented in a number of reserves, with no big bulls to sort of put these younger guys in their place, to discipline them, to guide them, to shape them. The younger guys will attack rhinos, often killing them in the process. They become very aggressive with vehicles, break fences. And incredible that as soon as a couple of big bulls are relocated and added to the dynamic in those environments with troubled youngsters, the problems are almost immediately solved. What a tranquil scene. I always find the most immense feeling of peace, especially sat in a scene like this, with elephants just happily stood a couple of feet away from you, feeding away. Us connected with them, them connected with us. Just for a couple of minutes, we sort of forget all the problems that the world is facing. Nature therapy, or elephant therapy, if you will. Renata, they certainly can, especially if they can attain a sufficient size. If they get very, very big, the females find them sort of just as attractive, and they have the same sort of power and social standing over other bulls. So yeah, it's not all about tusks. And there are lots of elephants in the Greater Kruger that are completely tuskless. Again, that's a recessive gene. And once again, with what we know about what elephants are facing in Africa in regards to ivory poaching, it's potentially quite beneficial to them to be tuskless. There are entire populations across the border to our east in neighboring Mozambique that have no tusks at all. And that's a result of years and years, decades of selective ivory poaching. Poachers shooting the tusked ones and leaving the tuskless ones behind. Yeah, pretty tragic stuff. Mozambique is on the rise, though, and they're making major headway in conservation. It has so much potential to be a real ecotourism hotspot in the next sort of decade. Doesn't quite have the infrastructure yet, but if you're an adventurous traveller, Mozambique is filled to the brim with magic. A very, very cool place. After years of civil war, and there's been almost no scientific investigation in some remote corners, so little parties of biologists that do go exploring, wanting to map new places out, do studies, almost certainly discover new species on almost all of these voyages. It's like a forgotten corner of Africa. That's a really special thing these days. And then there was one. So it seems like the rest of the bulls have moved off completely. This chap just doing a last bit of brekkie snacking on this knobthorn.
Hi, my name is Claire. WildEarth has been part of this home for many years as it connects us to the bush and the culture that we love and miss so much. I became an explorer so that other people around the world can get to experience the African bush in this unique way as well. I am beyond excited that I was drawn to win the prize at Ambakala Game Reserve for 3 nights. It is truly a dream come true.
Sign up today and you could be the one experiencing it for yourself.
happiness, goodness, warmth, we have found some impala. Now the impala look, I guess a little bit, actually they do look like me. Sorry, I have to do this because I'm gonna make Lloyd come back to me. Because I've just, look, my gloves are like impalas. Look at them. They're fluffy, brown, and white. It looks like an impala. And the gloves are also super fluffy at the top, much like the impala's fur, because the impalas are piloerecting, which means that they are popping out and sticking out every little bit of fur. That's going to help them insulate themselves to trap as much air as possible between every little bit, every little hair. Lloyd, let's head forward a little bit.
Let's do that.
Okay. We're just going to catch up with them. We can chat about piloerection some more. I know that they are moving off, but you can see that they are quite fluffy. So at the end of every single hair that make up an animal's fur, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little muscle. And that tiny little muscle works to pick up the hair. And the action of that muscle is linked to temperature. And you have the same thing with the hairs on your body, like the hairs on your arms or on your neck standing up. Even on your face you might feel it. And it's the same mechanism, a tiny, 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 tiny little muscle working as it feels the temperature decrease to lift that hair up, which is what we call piloerection. So it's erecting a hair. So tiny little bits of hair all over standing up traps the air, and then that air creates an extra layer of insulation. Helps keep the animal nice and warm, or at least warmer. And now they have well and truly moved away. Whew, and that breeze, let me tell you, that breeze, whew, it is cold. Hi Samantha, you'd like to know if all mammals perform piloerection? As far as I know, yes. So if you have a hair, excuse me, I'm starting to slur again from the cold. If it has a hair, then it likely has a tiny muscle to allow it to piloerect. So there's a couple reasons that is important. One, let's maybe just keep on moving, see if we can find the impala again while we talk about this. And make sure that Jordan, our director, doesn't fall out of my ear. Oh, that sounds like a kid story waiting to be written. So, have a body and body covering. Associate that tiny muscle at the base of it. Sometimes it's not just fluid-filled sac. Also, if that hair moves or not. But having the hair is associated. I've taken it to the next level and used it as a way of displaying. So it's a good example of how something that is part of an animal's normal anatomy or normal mechanisms to do something that's essential. Such something that's displaying. So if a civet before, or you can see how when they're approached by another animal, or they want to show how large and how much bigger they are as you, then especially if they have a crest. A large mechanism. Same mechanism. It's just being used for, but that's what's something that essential and things. Very cool. Anyway, we're going to turn around, I think, or we're going to reach the dam, then turn around, and I'm going to send you over to Cedric in the meantime.
Yeah, you don't have, do you have the other channel? Go for some torch route because the cars are already flogging in there.
Hey. Nah, I've got Torchwood. I'll try and go on Torchwood channel.
Yeah, just rest
Alright, looks like some of the lions have passed already through Djuma. So they've got a visual of one, but on the boundary of Buffelshoek, so it's quite far from where we are now. But we're going to head into that direction ASAP and go and see if we can follow up. I was just getting some information from the guy on the radio. It might be he says it's a sub-adult, so it might be the Nkuhuma sub-adult, but let's go and take a look. Yeah, I have to get onto the radio and call in and all that, so yeah. I do apologize for jumping onto these radios like this, but that's how we get ourselves into standbys. Station on Lockworth, Ngala.
Two stations right from there, one station at Meridian Lock. There was a cruise camp station that was following off in Angola as well. I don't know if they're taking standby.
Alright, I just want to know if I can, what standby can I take?
So either be standby 2 or standby 1. If we just get hold of the cruise camp station quickly. Cruise camp station.
So I just have to get on the radio with these guys. So it sounds like they're on the Buffelshoek boundary. So yeah, let's head into that direction. Yeah, it looks like everybody's been looking for these lions this morning, so it seems like it's quite a busy. Copy, thank you so much. Alright, looks like I am on standby 2 for them, so wonderful, but we're going to still continue up the side to see what else we can find. As you know, we are still busy with our Rangers race, so I'm going to see if I can find a elusive impala. Claire, good morning. I'm glad you're loving it. Thank you for joining us on WildEarth on our sunrise safari, Claire. And Claire, yes, as you can see, I was on the radio at the moment and I was trying to get into a sighting. So what's happened now, some of the other vehicles that's also pretty much traverses in this area, they found some lions not too far north of us. And I got onto the radio and I just called myself in to that sighting. And now they say I'm on standby 2, so I have to listen to the radio as well, Jordan. I've just got to up and because I have to also control the sighting very soon. So of course when you're on standby 1, you have to control the sighting. So yes, in other words, when I say control the sighting, meaning putting guys onto standbys to get in there, because we only allowed 3 vehicles at a sighting, no more than 3 vehicles, so we don't put pressure on those animals. Very important, a lot of ethics that goes behind it.
I assume it was actually closer to where I am, so I'm feeling on it in London. I may try and focus on you later, thank you.
Copy, then I'll take standby 1, I'll control. Alright, see, that's how we do it, Claire. But yes, I'm hoping you're enjoying it, and stay tuned because we're going to have some tawny cats just now. Alright, I think what we'll do, we'll just go past Buffelshoek Dam first, one of the nice dams here on the northeastern corner of Djuma. And we're going to stop there for a little bit and just wait till we get called in.
We love all the support. We read all the comments, and now we want to acknowledge our biggest fans. Do you know when Ribbon was seen last? Or the names of June's cubs? Do you remember the last time we were up close and personal with an elephant? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are in for a treat. WildEarth's Fan of the Month. We are looking for you. For more details, make sure to read our monthly mailer and keep an eye out on our social media pages. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
Our mission controllers has also let us know that a lot of you are sending commendations to BK Uhuru this morning for his fine camera work. So thanks very much. BK is very appreciative. He's working hard to present you the very best. Again, not his first rodeo. This man has got mad skills. Well, these giraffe kind of getting mobile now. We might just let this guy do a walk past and then we'll reposition. Hopefully they go down towards Leopard Dam for a bit of a drink. Tristan, a great question. So male giraffe ossicones, giraffe bull ossicones, become thicker and become bald through the process of fighting. Giraffe males, in order to establish dominance and win the rights to mate with females, will neck. So they stand side by side, often either facing the same direction or opposite directions, and they joust. So they swing their heads and their necks into one another, hoping to destabilize their opponent. But the action of the tops of those ossicones kind of bumping against the neck and the rump of the competitors knocks all the hair off, it makes them bald, and it repeatedly cracks that ossicone, causing it to ossify, causing the body to try and fix it with calcium, so it becomes thicker and thicker and thicker. Occasionally bulls fight so viciously they actually break them off. And considering that is bone that's attached to the skull, that must be excruciatingly painful. Alrighty, well, we are filming over the back of the Land Rover now, which is not ideal. So I think BK and myself are going to turn ourselves around. Beautiful. What a nice morning. Yeah, our giraffes just happily feeding away over there. Looks like they're tucking into a Zusiphus, a buffalo thorn tree. No, it may be a common spike thorn, an equally thorny piece of vegetation. Francine in Pridelands, probably about 15. But in the Kruger National Park itself, a little bit further east of us, the biggest group I've seen is probably about 40. And I've certainly seen photographs from other parts of Africa of groups in excess of 60. Again, those are not permanent associations like a herd of elephants, a permanent social unit. They're more loose, more fluid, with members sort of moving in and moving out as they feel the need. There's a little bit of that jousting I was talking about. Sort of swinging heads and necks. It was not very long-lived. These bulls slowly making their way down towards Leopard Dam. Maybe we get lucky and we get them drinking, though we may need to be on the other side of the dam for that. Giraffes are very vulnerable when they spread their front legs and sort of squat down to have a few sips of water. So they tend not to be too keen to do that if you're parked very close to them. You know what, I think let's zoom round to the other side of the dam if we can. Hopefully we get these bulls doing just that. Sally, probably the lions. Look, it's no small feat for a pride of lions to hunt a giraffe. It tends to be something that they kind of need to learn. The specific sort of technique needed to hunt big animals like giraffe, buffalo, even elephants in some areas is almost passed down in lion prides. Now, I haven't heard specifically that these Pridelands lions are giraffe killers. I know they take buffalo from time to time. But in this Hoedspruit area, there are a number of reserves that have prides of lions that are very skillful at killing giraffe. We've also got ellies coming down to the water. Yeah, it pays to spend time at the waterholes. Let's try and get out of their way quickly. Oh, one at the water already. Sorry there, BK, a bit bouncy. Yeah, we've positioned ourselves nicely so as not to get in the way of these ellies. Give them ample room to come down to the water's edge. Again, they may not have had a drink since yesterday sometime. Jordan in our mission control says Pridelands is like a pot of gold this morning. I could not agree more. It's just buzzing with life. Oh, this is a big breeding herd. That's awesome. And they just keep coming and coming. You're going to swing that side. And giraffe drinking on the other side, as we hoped. Wow, wow, wow. You might just believe you're in Africa. Jeepers, big group of ellies. 20 plus, maybe 30. That is awesome. Everybody just coming in to slake their thirst this morning. Very, very cool, Miranda. Yeah, and that giraffe very skillfully spreading its front legs as they do to come in and have a drink. Giraffe actually remarkably independent of water. And they do need to drink, but possibly only every 4 or 5 days. At a push, maybe only once every 7 or 8. They do very well in places like Namibia, way out in the desert, with almost no water available at all. Alrighty, well, as we soak up this marvelous scene on Pridelands, let's check in with Trishala doing some birding.
We are doing a spot of birding. Just this grey go-away bird. Looked so pretty on top of this shepherd's tree. Surveying the area. Trying to warm up, much like us. To no avail, though, I must admit, because the sun is just not giving today. It's there, it's bright, but the warmth, not so strong. But it's looking rather regal. And I think that they are very pretty birds. I don't really like the name. Grey go-away bird. I much preferred grey lurie. But unfortunately, grey go-away bird is the official name. Look at that crest. It might have pooped there for a moment. Oh, there we go. No, don't go too much higher. Oh, yes. The canopy of our vehicle might show a little bit there, just at the top of your screen. That's why I was hoping that this bird wouldn't go higher and out of our view. Jordan, you think that grey go-away birds remind you of punk rockers? For me, that's crested barbets. But I think I can see what you mean, especially when the crest is blowing over to the side. And more often than not, we see pairs, if not more of them together. I wonder where the others are. Hi, Lara Moore. You agree with me You think grey go-away birds are very pretty? I do too. Yep, that's quite a hairstyle in the breeze. Can you hear the Cape turtle doves calling quite a lot? Probably about 4 or 5 different individuals I can hear at the moment. Some are quite loud as well. Not a bad bird if you're trying to relocate a predator. Not the most reliable call, but they can give you some indication. And Cedric, it seems, has found the predator he's looking for. I wonder if there's a grey go-away bird around that's alerted him to their presence.
Yay! We have got some tawny cats for this beautiful Sunday morning sunrise safari. As you can see, we've got a young male on top, a young male lying there, another 2 young males lying closer to us, and there's a fourth one, but we can't see it at the moment, but there's another 4th young male. So we just got here now. It looks like it's the 4 sub-adult male lions from the Nkuhuma Pride. So the rest of the pride's not here, but it's these 4 young males. So these boys are around about now getting to, I think the one's already over 4 years old, the light one on the right, and the one that's a little bit lighter or darker to the left of him, maybe about 6 months younger. So yeah, we are, if you do know the area, I know a lot of you like to know the location of these cats. Well, we are on a Buffelshoek boundary, so that's the northern side of Djuma, and we're directly north of Buffelshoek Dam. That's where we are. It's just the 4 of them. I don't know the rest of the pride. Apparently they said they had the rest of the pride's tracks coming in this morning onto Djuma. So what's happened to the other 10 pride members? No idea. But it's just these 4 young boys so far, and it looks like they are really sticking together these days. We saw them the other day as well, moving around with their father, of course Mohawk, the dominant male of the area. Yes, Rashan, finally. Yeah, I fully agree, Rashan. Thank you. It has been a tough few days for cats here on Djuma, but it's nice just to have them once again. But yeah, very important for these 4 young boys. That's exactly why the bond is so close between the 4 of them, because you must remember, one day, sooner or later, they are going to get pushed out from the pride itself, and then they're going to move on and become nomadic males, and they will stick together as brothers or half brothers forever, and then they'll create a coalition, and then they'll go and look for a nice area to take over, and then yes, once they take over a nice big portion of a territory somewhere in the Greater Kruger National Park, they become territorial, and then they can start their lives as dominant males, but they will stick together forever. Not always the case. I mean, there has been sometimes coalition breakups.
Are you yearning for a private virtual WildEarth safari adventure with our naturalists and crew? We have got you covered. Sign up to be an explorer before the 15th of August and you could win a private safari experience. Make lifelong wildlife memories with either Steve,
Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning.
or Cedric. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
professional field guide in the African bush? Eco Training's Professional Field Guide course can make that dream a reality. This comprehensive program comprises approximately 5 months of theoretical and practical training in the African bush, with highly qualified instructors, where participants will complete various certificate courses. You'll learn essential skills such as animal behavior, tracking and identification, as well as gaining in-depth knowledge of the African bush and its ecosystems, all while living in a real-life safari camp. But the learning doesn't stop there. Following the theoretical and practical training, students will embark on a placement program period of 5 to 6 months. During this time, you'll work alongside professional staff and management at a property, putting your newly acquired skills into practice and gaining substantial practical experience. You'll be fully prepared for a fulfilling and rewarding career as a professional field guide. Enroll today, locally or internationally. Take the first step towards your dream bushveld job today.
We have so many giraffe. There are probably about 10 or 12 of them, all coming across. At the moment, we're just looking at 5 that are doing some play necking. So awesome to witness this. I love seeing big groups of giraffe because it's not something we get to see too often in Djuma, where I spent the majority of my time guiding. So whenever we see a big group, and we see big groups at Amakhala as well, even at Karika, we used to see really large groups of giraffe. It always makes me happy. And the ones here are really, really, really relaxed. I must say they're necking quite quietly today. Sometimes you can hear that impact. So if I see them having a go at each other properly, I'm going to be quiet so we can hear the impact. And a couple things that I'd like you to notice is that when they're... that was such a half-hearted attempt. They try to position themselves laterally, so side to side. And when they do that closely, that's when you know it's about to go down. But now they just look like they're walking away. Hi Janet, you'd like to know if they're always found in groups like this? No, they're not. Giraffe have a very, very loose association. So sometimes they may be in large groups like this. I know that we just see 5 now, but there are others scattered alongside them. Sometimes you'll just see one giraffe. Sometimes you'll see a female with her offspring. Sometimes you'll see a female by herself. But most often when we find females, there might be 1 or 2 other females with her. Males, we might find them in bachelor herds like here. This allows them to practice their necking, like we're witnessing right now. But their aggregations are very loose. There's no rules when it comes to giraffes. Can see the young males still have very fluffy ossicones. Now you were chatting about ossicones with Liam with his giraffe, and he was explaining that the males have bald ossicones at the top from necking, constantly hitting the top, those ossicones against another giraffe's body, and that kind of balds them. But for young giraffes that haven't gotten enough hits in, they can still be a little fluffy. And they might hang out like this in this little bachelor group. maybe just for a few hours, maybe just for today. Then they can break away. But giraffes in an area know who else is in the area. Giraffes can communicate infrasonically, so in that really low frequency that's below our hearing threshold, and so likely that's how they keep in contact with each other. And we also know that in an area there will be a dominant bull, and for him to be dominant in an area must mean that he knows and is associating with others in the area as well, even though they don't have close-knit, structured herds. Oh, they're having a proper go, those two on the right. Hi Daisy, that's an excellent question. You'd like to know at what age do giraffes start necking? I can't say. I don't know when exactly they will start necking. Necking is obviously a behavior that we see in males because that's how they fight for females and assert their dominance. But I think, like with most mammals, when they start playing and associating with each other, like, you may be young male calves in a little nursery herd. Maybe there's a few females with their calves together. And then even when they're very young, they can start playing. Oh, almost got necktied. Oh. It looks so awkward and lanky, but it is a really important part of their lives. I mean, we almost can't fit them in the frame. Now they're walking towards us, but for now I'm going to send you over to Liam, but I'm going to sit tight and watch them. Maybe we'll be able to show them to you again.
Very cool, thanks for that, Trish. And a much nicer sort of example of that giraffe necking we were talking about in an earlier segment. Our giraffes are still on the scene here, but they've been sort of pushed into thicker stuff by a big herd of elephants, which initially started on the northern bank of Leopard Dam where we are parked off. But they've actually looped around to the southern side, finished up their drinking, and now they look like they're going to be heading into the thickets to the south. What a pleasure. It has been a splendid morning all round by the sounds of things. Yeah, one of the biggest attractants to this Pridelands property for me personally as a naturalist is the density of these eddies. I have never been to this property and not had amazing encounters with elephants. And it'll certainly keep me coming back. Yeah, it's also a wonderful experience for us as naturalists, as guides, as camops, and certainly for the students that do their field guide studies here. The whole experience of spending the evening in tents, especially at the moment with such cool conditions. It's quite comfortable, we sleep very well, but we're also very exposed. You get a wonderful feeling of being connected to nature. Morris, I think it's just sort of a kind of a combination of great conditions for ellies. This heavily wooded savanna, predominated by marula trees and Acacia nigrescens, the knobthorn, provides a year-round food supply. There's also ample water on this property with a number of large water holes. Yeah, it's amazing. I've never really encountered elephants like this before anywhere else. The Sabi Sands, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, I love it.
Do you sometimes imagine what WildEarth would be like without adverts? A chance to properly immerse yourself in nature without any interruptions. Sign up to be an explorer for a small monthly fee and you can truly escape into the wilderness. Ad-free viewing is now available on our app as well as on our website. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
To become a skilled safari guide, traversing the African bush and encountering wild animals up close. Whether you're a retiree, a recent graduate, or a professional seeking a change, the 55-day eco-training program is for you. This comprehensive course will provide you with an unparalleled opportunity to gain expertise in every aspect of the African bush. With the coaching of experienced training guides, you'll embark on an unforgettable adventure that will give you a deep understanding of wildlife, conservation, and African cultures. Over the course of the program, you'll learn essential skills such as animal tracking, bird identification, and bush survival techniques. But the benefits of this rigorous training go far beyond technical knowledge. You'll also form close bonds with fellow nature enthusiasts and conservationists from around the world, creating a global network of like-minded individuals. Your days will be filled with excitement and wonder as you observe animals in their natural habitats and explore the diverse landscapes of Africa. Return home with newfound knowledge, a qualification, unforgettable memories, and a sense of accomplishment that will last a lifetime.
We're still sitting here with these 4 sub-adult male lions. As you can see, this the youngest of the 4 of them, the young one here, just got his head up now. That's a little bit of mane that's coming there next to his chin, getting a little bit of that mohawk that's going on top of his head. And just by the size, it looks like, I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's around about 3.5 years old now, 3.5. So he's the youngest of the 4. Yes. And you can just see he's of course going to go and lie flat. I don't think they're going to go do too much for now. Maybe the rest of the pride might be trailing the 4 of them, or these 4 might be trailing the rest of the pride. So I'm going to just take a look around in the vicinity not too long from now, just to double check if the rest of the Nkuhuma pride is not here. But that is so nice that they are coming back onto Djuma. They've been missing for quite some time, well, not a long time, but for a good couple of weeks. Mandy Arthur, yes, nature always surprises us. That's why I love what I do, because I think every single day, every single drive, I get surprised by something new. And it's nice just to see these young boys. So if you saw the other evening, we were sitting with Mohawk, that male lion. So Mohawk, that male lion, is pretty much the father of these boys. He's the dominant male of the Nkuhuma pride. Now, I'm not too sure if he's joined or been joined by the pride again after that evening. I'm not too sure, but he will make sure that his pride is safe from other males. He will be doing his own patrolling and making sure that this area is free from any nomadic males coming through. Oh, this other one male, I think this one just got up now. Just look there, this young male, he's just got his head up. I don't know, he picked up on something, not too sure what. Of course, the older one to the right of him, he just got his head up. Let's just see, maybe the other might be moving. No, I don't see much movement from the 4th one. As I say, we don't have visual of the 4th one. We'll have to reverse to see if we can see the 4th one. I think we should quickly try and look here. I think let's look at the other male line. So we've seen the 3 of them, the one on top of the termite mound, this young male, and the older one. But I think let's quickly reverse here. Anna Marie, definitely will be a fantastic coalition in the future. I think they are going to be magnificent. And on top of that as well, there's another 2 young males that's part of the Nkuhuma pride. So you can imagine all 6 of them joined together as a coalition. It would be wonderful. All right, let me just try and jigger Rusty here quickly. All right, turn Rusty over here, and well, the other one's pretty much just as. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, don't fall down. Okay. I want to double check. What is it? This one's also very light. Am I correct saying that these are the 4 Nkuhuma subadult males? Because I'm struggling to see the male with the amber eyes. Oh, I don't. Maybe there might be the one that's on the termite mound, but I'm just double checking because I can't see. Lipscar's not here. Because I don't remember the Nkuhumas actually having 2 males that's so light. But let's just my fire cake is out quickly. Because we had 4 males as well. It was the Imbali, the Imbali pride. Yeah. Alright, well, we're going to try and just get a little bit of an understanding on these 4 young males. I might have just jumped the gun a little bit early with the Nkumas, because now I just realized this one is just as light. But anyway, let's head over to Trish in Amakala. Not Amakala, Madikwe, with some small creatures.
If there was ever a visual representation of the fact that it is actually quite cold, even though it's bright blue sky, clear, and the sunshine is pouring through, these squirrels should give you the message. They're in a dead leadwood, it appears. Huddled up, there's about 5 of them all together, 4 of them in that hole. One there clinging on for dear life at the... And then there's one way at the bottom. Oh. Now this is exactly how almost every small mammal spends their morning. Just trying to heat up. Their small bodies lose heat easily. They also can get warmed up easily. So if they just give themselves a bit of time in the morning to really take in all the sun, then that means that they will have enough energy, be warm enough to continue on in their day and begin foraging. Mongoose are just the same. There's the other one. Shame when it's cold and small mammals are trying to warm up. They always look like they have this 1,000-yard stare, which I suppose I get as well when I'm very cold and I'm just trying to warm up. Just stare off in one direction while you pull all your limbs in close together. If I had a tail, I'd have my tail wrapped around me too. This breeze is very, very cold, but luckily these squirrels, now these are tree squirrels, or the Smith's bush squirrel, and we see them, they're quite arboreal, so we see them in trees all the time. But they're also on the ground quite a bit. Hi, William. Yes, he's a cute, cold little thing. Definitely. Very cute, very cold, very little. Now, if we think about the trees that we find here in this area, the majority of the trees that we're finding in this area, they're all kind of spindly and very thorny. Oh, there we go. Some movement. Oh, huddle together, everybody. That's how you're going to keep warm. Oh. So when we think about these trees, the sickle bush, the various vachilias, the umbrella thorn, the sweet thorn, they're not the easiest to be climbing over and for a tree squirrel or squirrel. So instead we're seeing them a lot in the dead trees. We're seeing them running around tambutis. Remember we saw that a couple days ago? And the majority of the time we're seeing them foraging on the ground, which we see in Djuma all the time as well. Oh, the 2 at the top look like they're hugging. So when we saw the squirrel a couple days ago jumping about that tambuti tree, somebody said, why don't we ever see them in groups? Well, here we go. They live in family groups, as I explained that day, and now we get to see them. Now, I'm not sure who I'm sending you to, but I do know that they also have something cute and tiny.
Just wanting to add another species for my ranger race. Hello, little one. We saw you nibbling on that monkey orange there. We have a male steenbok here. I was busy on my private safari, but I have managed to see elephant, hippo, steenbok, and some hyenas. But yes, maybe not the most amount of species, but luckily We've got a steenbok here, and if we just look ahead, at 12 o'clock we have the entire population of impala. They should be on quarantine, and they're being a little bit adventurous today and slowly making their way down Philemon's Dip. Impala on the list. I'm hoping to work hard on it this afternoon. I think Madikwe and Amakala are in good standing there. They have a high diversity of animals, but Juma will work hard, that's for sure. It's been a really peaceful morning. Had a great private safari, and I did check the dens twice. The den, sorry. No activity. Not even little Junebug. Bless me. Whew. Thank you, Owen. Sorry, everyone. Don't know where these sneezies are coming from. I hope the zebra are still around. That's what I'm going to go looking for now. Lily, I wish I was. I wish I was. I'm not, but I will get into my competitive spirit this afternoon. It's not really the competitive nature, but it actually forces you to look, if that makes sense. It forces you, okay, you've got to collect the highest number of species. So it really forces you to look for the reptiles. Try to find insects if you can. There will be butterflies fluttering around. There are some insects scuttling around. Birds. I love that aspect of it. That sort of drive. Instead of just going on your track and trying to look for mating leopards that you're not going to find, it forces you to look at everything. And I actually do enjoy that because it is about everything. We're not allowed to tap into the plant kingdom, but everything else is doable. It's a little bit too cold this morning, but I think this afternoon I'm going to try really hard to get some insects on the list. I feel like we're having a bit of a false spring. Or maybe it's a real spring just coming early, but it just all feels a bit off. And I wonder if the late rains really did play havoc with the insects, which is a little bit sad if you think about it.
Those sounds just go straight through you.
Oh, he's got a nasty bite mark on his forehead. As you can see right on top of his head. A nasty hole, like a bite mark. A lot of scratches on his face as well. Looks like, yeah, well, that's typical for these young males heading into areas and all that and getting caught by another pride or other males, and a lot of fighting going on. But that is typical of Sabi Sands or the Greater Kruger Park lions. They are fighters, you know. For them to take over a territory, it is quite tough. Or if they're nomadic, they always have those moments. That's why it's very important to have a coalition. Very important to have brothers. To be a single male, it is quite tough, and it's the chances of you keeping an area, a territory, or claiming a territory is very tough. I think that's lip. Yeah, that's lip scar. You can see he's got the scar on his lip.
So yeah, more Pridelands giraffe action this morning. We left Leopard Dam ages ago. We're now a couple of kilometers deeper east into the concession, but absolutely inundated with giraffes. Well, that is a champagne problem if ever I've had one. Fantastic. Yeah, as we came upon the scene, this very dark giraffe cow was actually high up on a ridge line, sort of giraffe on a mountain, which was an unusual view. But yeah, she didn't really want to stick around up there. She's come down. It's actually improved the view. They are wonderful to see them. And nice to compare the ossicles on the top of the head with those bulls we viewed earlier. Hers, of course, are skinny and fluffy. BK framing up nicely on one cow that is still up in the rocks, feeding on what looks like a buffalo thorn. It's a bit far away, it's tough to tell. Yeah, she best be careful up there. Obviously a giraffe taking a tumble, stepping on some loose rocks would be a disaster. Yolanda, you're absolutely right. That's certainly the theory. The pigment melanin in things like giraffe and lion, as two examples, corresponds with testosterone in males. So male lions with the darkest manes and male giraffes with the blackest skin theoretically hold positions of greatest dominance, thus making them most attractive to potential mates. That's the theory anyway. I've obviously seen lots of mating going on with tawny male lions, and equally I've seen tawny male giraffes mating on a number of occasions. So it may be a bit circumstantial. The call of a hardy-dar ibis flying over, and arrow-marked babblers in the background. Lots of bird life out at the moment. It is so calm this morning, not a breath of wind. And thankfully the sun's rays warming us up nicely. We've been stripping off layers, the gloves are off. And we're in for what I think is going to be a really pleasant day. The call of red-billed wood hoopoes behind us, otherwise known as Kega Bafars, the cackling ladies. Cool. Well, as we enjoy this plethora of birds and our towering giraffes, let's check in with Lauren, who's got some mongoose.
Another unique species to add to our list, and one of my faves. I think these dwarfies have actually just woken up. It's almost 5 to 9. And look at you, cute thing. Are you a youngster? You look young. You do. The youngsters normally have much rounder faces when they look at you than the adults do. Oh, look. Oh, and they've got a few heads popping out of the holes at the top. Just right here in that hole. We see you. Been very cautious, I know. There's been lots of leopard activity here and all sorts of bad animals around. I just love it. You'll drive past. Obviously the cars are noisy. Nothing. Only wake up when the sun is warm. Oh, Callum, I could watch them all day too. And not just the dwarfies. They all are, from the bandied to the slender. Slenders are tricky to get on camera, but you can. But all the mongoose species are just adorable. The yellow mongoose and amakala, they're just such wonderful animals. But I guess if there was a bit of a competition for cuteness, the dwarfies would win. Hello. And they say that you can, sort of the way they habituate meerkats, you can do the same with dwarf mongoose. The only challenging thing is that they do change burrows each night. They don't necessarily go down to sleep in the same termite mound. They have a sort of network of termite mounds. But if you're able to follow them and know which mound they stay at each night, you can habituate them on the same level that you can the meerkats. But they're pretty relaxed around vehicles anyway. They get startled when you first arrive, but once you stay here, as you can see, they're just quite curious. This mound looks perfect, actually. There's no huge entrance, just lots of little ones, the perfect size for dwarf mongoose. Did not catch that name, but they are so cute. They really are. To us, they are. Obviously, to many other animals out here, they would not be cute. They're remarkably fierce when it comes to hunting. I've seen Klalamba hunt dwarf mongoose quite a few times. Easy snack for a predator too, if they can catch them. Don't you think, am I too out there? The one on the left that's looking right, don't you think they look like hyenas? I definitely do.
Do you love relaxing at a waterhole with the sights and sounds of Africa all around you? Well, we have some really exciting news for you. From August 1st, Africam is joining forces with WildEarth to bring the majesty of Africa right into your living room with 9 incredible new waterhole cameras from across South Africa and Kenya. Get ready to embark on a new journey. This is Live at the Waterhole.
And just like that, our giraffe has disappeared. We may come around the corner a little bit. I see a couple of impala coming out with those last few giraffes. And then perhaps we can try for those impala lilies. Probably one of my favorite plants that grows out here. Calvin, giraffes are remarkably agile on their feet, but you've heard the expression, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. A fall from that height, sort of 5 or 6 odd meters tall, could be extremely damaging. Giraffe do break their legs, but obviously they tend to be quite careful. Yeah, so our giraffes here just dipping into the drainage line. Nice herd of impala coming out. We often find a whole mix of these plains game species. Things like giraffe, zebra, wildebeest, impala, all sort of sharing the same space. Ultimately, they're not really competing for food. Things like the impala sort of browsing and grazing at quite a low level. A giraffe nibbling the most succulent shoots high up in the canopies of these trees. They also have very different perspectives and senses. The impala obviously quite low to the ground. They have a very different view of danger. And of course the giraffe with that lofty head, they can spot something like a lion coming from a mile away. So there's some feeling that they could obviously warn each other. Safety in numbers to some degree. A giraffe can be a really useful tool for us operating in the bush. If we're tracking something like lion or perhaps a leopard, and you come across giraffe all pointing in the opposite direction, not really looking at you, very often they've spotted the predator. I've had multiple sightings where sort of the final score has been made by the giraffe. Interesting that these giraffe cows walking along the edge of this drainage line, this dry riverbed, are actually feeding on the shoots of tambuti trees. Highly toxic species. It contains a milky latex in its leaves, twigs, bark and wood. That's seriously poisonous. Certainly even carpenters working on wood, if they're exposed to the smoke that comes from tambuti limbs, it's enough to make you physically ill, give you diarrhea, make you vomit. So incredible that the giraffe find it so palatable. Bristol Dave, if my memory serves me, I think the average life expectancy of a giraffe in the Greater Kruger is supposedly something like 20 or 25 years. Not all that long if you think an elephant lives to be about 65 for a bull, a rhino maybe around 40. But yeah, I guess it's all relative. I think a domestic horse only lives to be about 30. A buffalo also 20s, 25, something like that. They mature relatively quickly. They're obviously born at about 6 foot tall, putting on 3 foot in the first year, probably a little bit less the year after that. They're probably at adult size by about 5 or 6. And I think bulls in reproductive condition by about 10. So yeah, I suppose 25 years probably then is a fairly good innings for a giraffe. And a fork-tailed drongo fluttering around this giraffe's legs. While the drongos don't actually feed on the ticks on the giraffe's body, they rely on the fact that these very heavy-bodied antelope, or animals rather, are constantly going to be disturbing insects as they move through the grass. Candy, definitely. Peaceful animals and peaceful scenes. It's a wonderful way to start the morning. BK and I have both got flasks of nice quality filter coffee. Life is too short for instant. So we've been happily soaking up the morning sun and all of these splendid scenes with some quality caffeine. I hope you've got some as well. And a nice group of very healthy looking impala there as well. It's a nice mixed group. Again, the rut is over now. Most of the females are are pregnant. So there's a whole mixture, dominant males, young males. There's no real fighting. Everybody's just relaxed now. The main focus is to try and survive the dry season. Nature is constantly testing the living things that make these wilderness areas home. Ultimately, only the fittest will survive to see the next breeding season. And that's the way it should be. Alan from the UK, thanks a million for that. BK is certainly pulling out all the stops to present the very finest scenes. Yeah, it's not easy filming wildlife. It very rarely goes to plan. We're often slapped with sort of tech challenges and animals that stay in thick bush. So in order to produce nice content, you've got to be quite creative and quite dynamic, versatile. Often though, patience pays off. If you're willing to sit a little bit longer, the scene will improve. The call of a grey go-away bird up in the tree, another very, very iconic low-felt call.
Not everyone gets excited to hear a leopard chuff, spot a pangolin, or see a real impala rut. But if you are wild about the wild, you can become part of a community of like-minded nature lovers and share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Join the Explorers Club and you will also enjoy the many benefits that come with it too. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
looping back, heading into central area. The central area where our camp is. Of course, breakfast is calling. But I also wondered if the leopards might have moved this way. They didn't move up Votala access. Doesn't appear that they moved in front of the Dan camp, so we're a bit limited as to where they went. But this road has already been driven this morning. But whoever drove it would have spotted the tracks, so either way, they've not come this way. Interesting. Haha, not a leopard. Oh, we have lots. You got a view from here. Last minute animal indeed. Elephants, you guys are everywhere. You can see it's a huge herd up ahead as well. Elephants, again, how wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Literally the most perfect way to end today's drive. Lisa, elephants have been a treat. It's about time they hung around and stayed with us. Oh, and I just want to point out a drongo up here. And then we've got a little one being very sassy on the road. The drongo is just here. Another species to add to my list, fork-tailed drongo. And then we'll look at this little cute bubba who's been very sassy on the road. Hello. What is it about a baby elephant? Why are they so heart melting? I think we're going to sit with this cute one for a while. I believe Cedric has got another animal for his list.
Alrighty then, so we've got our third animal for the morning, a blue wildebeest that is just hiding behind this tambuati tree. A nice male. Of course, and this might be the same male that hangs around on a big clearing at our camp, because we're not too far from there. And there's a whole lot of other animals around here. Alright, so that's my third animal, ranger race today. Blue wildebeest, lion, hyena, and now let's get the fourth one. Impahula alas. Impalas. Look at that. A whole herd of impalas. A nice whole harem. So of course that blue wildebeest was here. He is hanging around with him. He feels very safe with these impalas. So that is my fourth animal for the morning. Beautiful. And then we got a fifth one coming up. We got some let's take a look. That's here in a monkey orange thicket. We've got some kudus. Yes, look at that beautiful antelope, one of the largest antelopes that we do have around here. It's got a beautiful female. Look at her big ears. Always listening out. And look at that back hoof going exactly where the front one is, just to reduce noise. You can see popping it exactly where the front hoof was there. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Now she's there, she's not alone. There's other ones inside here. There's a youngster coming out now to the left. A little one with a mom. They're going to just start appearing out from the bush. There's mom. Where's young? The little one is there. Let's see if that young kudu comes out. Yes, Quentin, thank you so much. It is beautiful. 3 animals in one sighting. And you can see a youngster just eating some of those tambuti leaves, nice and fresh leaves that's coming out there. Oh, you've got to catch up to the rest of your herd. Of course, kudus always remaining in these thick areas. Oh, look at that beautiful one. And nice stripes running vertically down those flanks. Alright, so, well, that gives me 5 on my board. Anyway, we're going to move on and see what else we can find. Get a 6th one. Let's head over to Lauren with her elephant.
Well done, Cedric. I actually don't know how many animals I have, but I think it's pretty similar to you. I think possibly 5. We did have some lilac breastseed rollers, but the elephants then scared them away. I'm just looking out to see if they come back. They like to follow Ellie's. I'm waiting for FC to tell me what number I'm on, but I think it's pretty low. Come back, rollers. I have 6. Excellent, excellent news. Not bad. Yeah, I think those rollers have gone. But at least we still have a cute little elephant. And I am going to sneeze. Bless me, everyone. Sorry. I don't know why I'm sneezing so much today. This is our second large herd of elephants today. They are all on Juma, and I cannot explain how overjoyed I am. They'll also help thin out the bush a little bit, in a different way from buffalo, but they will still contribute to the bush thinning out a little bit more because it's still very thick.
Did you know that the WildEarth team makes weekly behind the safari content? Would you like to get to know the WildEarth family better? See how we live.
This is Eagle's bedroom.
Learn about our production process. And see the antics that happen off camera. Sign up to be an explorer and you will get access to all this content and more.
We are going to keep moving to see if we can get one more species before the end of drive. Now my competitiveness is coming out. Against myself. I want to challenge myself. I am mostly looking for birds right now. It's a perfect time in the morning to actually spot some lovely bird species. If not, as many of you know, the competition continues. For a few days, actually. Woo! Been a busy weekend. It seems like I am running out of time at this side, but this afternoon I'm going to be on it. Owen and I are going to be on the lookout for all the species that we can find on.
Alright, so we are here at Gowrie Dam, and we just spotted here at one of the outflows. In the corner we've got a nice green-backed heron, as you can see, also known as a striated heron. So it is sitting very silently here in some of these, it looks like some water weed that's coming out there. Of course, looking for little insects and fish and frogs, tadpoles. But you can see very sneaky, and they'll keep very still. And if there's something moving around, it'll grab it with that long beak. Quite a nice weapon to have. Beautiful yellow eye as well. Aren't they stunning? One of the smallest of the heron species. It hasn't got that real long neck, long legs like the grey heron or the Goliath heron. Alright, as you know, it's Ranger Race, and well, so far the leaderboard sits like this. Lauren and Mina, that's myself, we are sitting with 6 species, and Trishala and Leham, they have got 4 species on the board. Yes, indeed. Now, I'm going to put a 7th one. Let's take a look at the monitor lizard. Yes, sneaky. There it is. A Nile monitor, isn't that stunning? 3. 3. Okay, no, sorry. I just heard Jordan saying 3. But you can see that beautiful yellow little spots. Isn't that stunning? Just the pattern on these Nile monitors. Of course, what they're busy doing now this morning, as always here at Gowrie Dam, sitting on this big log, like a tree that's fallen into the water, and it's a perfect spot for them to do a little bit of sunning. So warming up their bodies for the day, like little solar panels of the bush. Because once they're nice and heated up, of course you'll find they will start moving around here in the water, looking for some potential prey that they can grab. Bianca, yes, it's been a very, very eventful drive. Thank you so much, Bianca. I think this morning, well, it was so nice having those hyenas. Nice to also get Lauren into that sighting of the hyenas. And then, well, yes, it was very nice. And I think at the end of the day, it is those 4 young male lions on the Buffelshoek boundary. Well, hopefully we can find the rest of the pride. But yeah, well, we're going to sit here and enjoy the ending with it. There we go, Cameron. You can just look down there at those beautiful Nile monitors. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us on this sunrise safari, as well as for all the comments and questions that you have sent through to us, as we always appreciate it. And I'm hoping that we could answer as many questions today. It is getting a little bit windy this side, but I'm hoping this afternoon is going to be a stunning afternoon. I think the wind is going to start dying down later on. But yes, but make sure to tune in and join us on our sunset safari and see what else we can find. I think we need a leopard. We need a leopard desperately. I think a leopard fix here at Djuma would definitely put a cherry on the cake for this weekend's safaris. From the WildEarth team, have a wonderful day. See you later this afternoon.